The black woman in this photograph was 73 years old. Look at her jaw, firm, lifted, not a line pulling at her throat. Her name was Lucille, and she never once bought a firming cream. Everything she trusted sat in a cabinet off Auburn Avenue, in a kitchen in Sweet Auburn. Small bottles, kitchen tins, a jar of grease by the stove, and most women today walk right past every one of them. Here is what Lucille understood, and the beauty aisle never will. Firm skin was never something you bought. It was something you already owned, sitting in the wrong room, used for the wrong thing. Today, I am counting down 15 of them, 15 oils and fats that black women reached for when the mirror started to shift. We go from number 15 all the way down to number 1. And number 1 has been in your own cabinet for decades, labeled as medicine. Some of these are in your kitchen right now. One of them, your mother made you swallow by the spoonful. Stay with me, because the African-American grandmother did not get that jaw from good luck. She got it from a shelf. Let me hand you the whole list, in order, from the first bottle to the last. Number 15, the tall yellow bottle of Wesson corn oil on the kitchen counter. Yes, the same bottle Lucille fried her Sunday chicken in. Before it ever touched a skillet, a little went onto her hands and her throat. Here is why it works. Corn oil is heavy in linoleic acid, the fat your skin uses to build its own barrier. When that barrier holds, water stays in, and skin full of water sits firmer and fuller. It also carries a good dose of vitamin E, an antioxidant that guards the collagen you already have from the daily wear of sun and air. A few drops pressed into damp skin at night was all it took. No label that said face, just a kitchen oil doing quiet work while the cornbread cooled. The women on Auburn Avenue were not being cheap. They knew the same fat that fed the body could feed the skin. Number 14, the small brown bottle of sweet almond oil from the drugstore shelf. It cost pennies, and it sat right next to the castor oil, quietly ignored. Almond oil is rich in oleic acid, a fat that sinks in slow and leaves the skin soft and pliable instead of tight. Skin that bends instead of cracks is skin that holds its shape as the years pull on it. It is also gentle enough for the thinnest skin you own, the skin around the eyes, where heavier oils feel like too much. Lucille warmed a few drops between her palms and pressed them under her eyes and along the cheekbone last thing at night. The African-American grandmother knew that softness was not weakness. Soft skin springs back, tight, dry skin gives way. That was the whole reason the little brown bottle earned its place. Quick pause, one breath only. Everything on this list came from our women, the black women who knew and were never thanked. Your own grandmother was probably one of them, so stay close. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you kindly. Now, back to the countdown. Number 13, the brown and gold stick of Palmer's cocoa butter, worn smooth at one end. You know this one. It is in your bag right now, or your mother's. Most women use it for scars and stretch marks and stop there. But cocoa butter is dense in fatty acids and vitamin E built for elasticity, and elasticity is the whole game when skin starts to loosen at the jaw. Rubbed in warm, it wraps the skin in a firm, springy layer that holds moisture through the night. Lucille ran that stick along her neck and her chest, the two places firmness leaves first, and the two places most women forget. On a shelf in Sweet Auburn, it stood beside the red tin of Royal Crown, both of them working for the same face, one for the hair and one for the skin. It plumps, it supples, it holds. Not glamorous, just steady. Number 12, the clear bottle of Johnson's baby oil on the edge of the sink, made for a newborn, borrowed by every woman in the house. Baby oil is a pure sealing oil. It does not feed the skin so much as lock the door behind everything else. Press it on as the very last step, and it traps every drop of water underneath it all night long. You wake with skin that looks plumped from the inside, lines softened, the surface full. Lucille smoothed a thin coat over her face after her heavier creams, then let it work while she slept. That trick has a fancy name today. Black women were doing it out of a baby's bottle long before anyone gave it one. Thin is the secret, though. Too much and you sleep in a slick. A light seal is all firm skin needs. Number 11. The white jar of coconut oil, solid as lard until it met warm skin. Lucille kept it in the kitchen and the bathroom both. Coconut oil is unusual. Its fats are small enough to sink past the very top layer instead of only sitting on it. And once inside, they help the skin hold its bounce. It is heavy in lauric acid too, which keeps the surface calm and clean while it works. A little melted between the palms and pressed into the neck and jaw at night went a long way. The women of that day did not read the science of it. They only knew the jar left their skin springy by morning, where a thin lotion left it flat. One caution: on a face that breaks out easily, keep it to the body and the neck. But for skin gone dry and slack, few kitchen jars did more. Number 10. The tall glass bottle of Dickinson's Witch Hazel on the bathroom shelf. This is the one that earns the word in the title. Witch hazel is packed with tannins, and tannins are astringent, which is a plain way of saying they draw the skin tight and tone the surface on contact. Swept across the face on a cotton round, it firms the look of loose pores and leaves the skin snug and lifted for hours. Lucille wiped it along her jaw and under her chin every morning before anything else went on. It is not an oil, and it does not pretend to be. It is the tightening step the oils cannot do on their own. A few cents a bottle at the corner drugstore, and it did what the tightening serums on the counter now charge a small fortune for. The women in Sweet Auburn simply called it toning and moved on with their day. If you take only one thing from this whole list, let it be these next few. This is where the kitchen stops being a kitchen and turns into a medicine chest. The strongest firming oils Lucille owned were never sold as skincare at all. Number 9. The tin of lard on the back of the stove, or the drippings jar beside it. This is the one nobody wants to say out loud. Rendered fat was the plainest skin salve a home ever had, and it worked because it is almost pure barrier. Smooth thin over clean skin, it seals like nothing from a store, holding water against the skin all night so the surface wakes soft and full instead of drawn. Lucille kept a little in a separate tin, just for skin, away from the cooking. The women of Sweet Auburn were not ashamed of it. They had seen what a hard winter did to an untreated face, and what a thin coat of fat did to protect it. You do not need the stove for it now, but understand what they understood. A simple fact, used thin, can outseal a jar that costs 30 times as much. Number 8. The little dark bottle of peppermint oil from the medicine shelf. A drop of this was never about the smell. Peppermint wakes the blood up right where you put it. Skin firmness leans on blood flow, on fresh oxygen and nutrients reaching the cells so they renew on time instead of slowing to a crawl. A single drop stirred into a spoon of a plain carrier oil, then pressed along the jaw, brings a light flush and a rush of circulation to a part of the face that usually gets very little. Lucille used it sparingly, always cut into another oil, never straight. It is strong, but used right, It is the quiet reason the skin along her jaw looked awake instead of tired. The African American grandmother knew that a tired face is often just a face starved of good blood. Number 7. The amber bottle of wheat germ oil from the health shelf at the back of the drugstore. Thick, golden, and easy to overlook. This oil holds one of the richest natural stores of vitamin E there is. Vitamin E is a bodyguard for collagen. It stands between your skin and the daily damage from sun and city air that quietly tears the firmness down. Used on skin already thinning and lined, it may help slow that loss and keep what structure remains. Lucille pressed a few drops into the deepest lines around her mouth and eyes at night, on their own, or stirred into a lighter oil, since wheat germ runs heavy. Not every Black woman knew about this bottle. The ones who did guarded it. It was, in plain terms, an antioxidant treatment long before that word ever reached a label. Number 6. The blue tin of Vaseline, the one that lived in every room of the house. Say what you like about it, nothing seals skin like petroleum jelly. It is the heaviest barrier on this whole list. A thin film locks in every drop of water and every oil you lay down before it, and skin kept full of water through the night wakes plumper with the fine lines pressed soft. Lucille used it the way the science now recommends, as the final coat, over her serums of oil, never underneath. Black women were slugging their skin out of a blue tin decades before the word arrived. The one rule is thin and last, too thick and nothing breathes. A light seal at the very end, and the whole routine underneath it finally gets to work. Number 5. The tub of raw shea butter, the color of fresh cream, carried across an ocean before it ever reached a shelf. This is the one with the deepest roots. Long before any American drugstore, the women of West Africa were pressing shea into the skin against sun, wind, and age. It is heavy in vitamins A and F, and a compound that calms and repairs, and it feeds elasticity at a level most oils cannot reach. Worked in warm, it melts into a rich balm that firms and softens skin gone slack. Lucille kept hers in a plain tub and used it on the driest, loosest spots, the jaw, the neck, the backs of the hands. This was the one fat on her shelf that was truly ancestral, older than every brand beside it. The African American grandmother did not learn shea from a magazine. It had reached her the long way, and it never once needed improving. Number 4. The bottle of camphorated oil on the medicine shelf, the one that came out for a deep cough. Here is where the cabinet turns into a firming tool. Camphor brings blood to the surface fast, a warm, tingling rush that floods the skin with circulation. And circulation is what feeds tired skin back to life, delivering the oxygen and nutrients that firmer, renewing skin runs on. Cut a small amount into a gentle carrier oil and press it lightly along the jaw and the neck, never on broken skin, never near the eyes. Lucille used it in the coldest months when skin looked gray and flat to bring the color and the life back to the surface. The women of that day reached for the same bottle for a chest cold and a dull face both. One bottle, 2 jobs. That was the whole spirit of the shelf. Number 3. The tin of olive oil beside the stove, poured for cooking and borrowed for skin. Of all the kitchen oils, this one is closest to your own. Olive oil carries squalene, a substance your skin already makes to stay supple, along with vitamin E to guard what firmness you have. Because it is so close to the skin's own oil, it absorbs clean and deep instead of sitting on top. Warmed and pressed into the face and neck at night, it leaves the skin soft, elastic, and slow to line. Lucille used the same oil for her greens and her face and saw no reason to own two. The women in Sweet Auburn understood a thing the counters have forgotten. The kitchen and the vanity were never really separate rooms. What fed you well from the inside fed the skin well from the outside. Number 2, the amber bottle of cod liver oil in the medicine cabinet. The spoonful your mother swore by, and you swallowed with your eyes shut. Here is the part almost nobody knows. Cod liver oil is loaded with vitamin A, and vitamin A is the exact thing retinol is built from, the one ingredient the whole anti-aging counter is built around. Taken by the spoon, it fed the skin from within, supporting the cell turnover that keeps a face firm and smooth. And a drop smoothed onto the skin gave a gentler version of what harsh modern retinol does, without the burning and the peeling. Lucille took her spoonful and some nights rubbed the last drop from the spoon into the back of her hand. The African-American grandmother was using nature's retinol every winter of her life. She just called it medicine, and it never once left her face raw. Which brings us, at last, to number 1. Number 1, the heavy amber bottle of castor oil, standing at the very back of the cabinet, the one labeled as medicine your whole life. This is the bottle I promised you at the start. For stomach aches, for coughs, for whatever ailed the house, it came out without a second thought. And Black women filed it under medicine and never once thought of the jaw. Yet it may be the most powerful firming oil a home already owns. Castor oil is almost entirely ricinoleic acid, a fat found in no other oil in any real amount. Researchers believe it may speak to certain receptors in the skin and gently press the skin to build its own collagen. And it is thick, so thick that spread thin it lays down a seal that holds water all night and plumps the surface by morning. Build and seal from one humble bottle. Lucille used a bare few drops as her final step, 2 or 3 nights a week, warmed and pressed along the jaw and down the neck where the years show first. Come morning she touched her jaw, and something under the skin answered back. That firm line you saw at the very start of this video did not come from a store. It came from the back of a cabinet, from a plain bottle everyone else threw a doubtful look at. That was Lucille's whole answer, if you can call a medicine bottle an answer. So there you have all 15, counted down to the one that mattered most. Now let me hand you the single rule that ties every bottle together, so you can forget the list and still get this right. Lucille never thought of it as 15 products. She thought of it as one habit. Firm skin was never about buying something new. It was about using what you already owned in the right place at the right hour. Light kitchen oils and toners by day, heavy seals and fats by night. The kitchen feeds the skin. The medicine chest firms it. The vanity only finishes what those 2 rooms started. That was the whole of it. Picture an ordinary evening in Sweet Auburn. The dishes are dried, the house is quiet, and the last exciting thing Lucille reaches for is not a jar with a price on it. It is a few drops of oil from a plain bottle, pressed up along the jaw, the way the women before her did it. Same shelf, same bottles, a different eye for what they were really for. And if you want every one of these 15 written down, the exact oils, the exact order, the exact nights, it is waiting for you at blackgrandmasvault.com in the Skin and Beauty Guide. The women before us kept the whole list in their heads. You get to keep it right there by your mirror. Now tell me something in the comments, because I truly want to know. Which of these 15 was sitting in the cabinet of the home you grew up in? And what did the Black woman who raised you reach for it to fix? I read every single answer. And the next time we sit down together, We are solving the mistake that quietly undoes all 15 of these oils. It is not which ones you use. It is the order you put them on. I will see you there.